Hi there, welcome to I Won't Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Libra energy. And this time, for these round, I'm using the Maruk X deck from their Etsy shop. It's kind of a Kipper deck combined with a kind of a Lenormand deck. And we're going to see what's going on in Libra energy. And we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Not everyone harnesses high vibe Libra energy. High vibe Libra would be that you're maintaining balance within yourself, not tipping out of balance, indulging poor behavior in yourself and others. You have a good sense of what's just and fair, looking at things from like a higher perspective, instead of being more about yourself or the world and things like that. And knowing that love is the answer. You offer love to situations for things to be better, and you offer love to yourself to stay balanced within yourself. You offer truth and love to other people, but some people haven't learned that. Just learning to love yourself can take the first 30 years of your life. Now we're going to shuffle the Intuit deck. Okay, see what that wants to add. And the intimidation and the fear reverse. The reason that came out is because of impatience. So, we can all be intimidated by our more shadowy nature. We can be impatient. We want what we want when we want it now. And our own shadow nature tries to tell us, no, you need to go do these things, and this will be just and fair, and this will make you happy, and you should invest your time, energy, and effort into these things. And we have to learn to stand up to our own shadow nature once we've kind of learned the lessons that we're meant to learn, and be more patient with ourselves, offer ourselves love, compassion, forgiveness, so our own shadow nature doesn't kind of drive our life off into the ditch. And we also need to quit being patient with people who also try to intimidate and control us. Some people want us in our shadowy energy because they don't want us to maybe be more independent or love and believe in ourselves. And when we stand up to our own shadow nature and reject the fear, the impatience card is reminding me of Sagittarius energy, then we can move forward. Life's an adventure to be lived. Let's not manipulate ourselves. Let's not let other people manipulate us. Life's an adventure to be lived. We're supposed to get on the road to learning all these lessons in life. We need to get out of our fear. But some people, they keep kind of indulging poor behavior in themselves and others. Other people run out of patience with them, and other people get over their fear of moving on by themselves. People are either working together with us to work on bringing a dream into reality, and as other people don't do what they need to do to move forward in a more balanced, authentic, loving way, other people lose impatience with them, and they get over their own fear about the fact that, I'm going to wish you peace and I'm going to move on. I view this card as the overarching reason for the reading, which is the Sun card, Leo energy. Are we operating more from our pride and our ego and our fear and our insecurity or self-centered nature, immature nature? If we are, other people are going to be illuminated to the truth of that. For a long time, we can be in relationships and we don't want to see the truth because we want it to work out. So we might put up, with some people in their poor behavior because we don't want to go get a new job, a different friend, go find a different relationship. But eventually, when we're kind of in some mismatched relationships, eventually people kind of do this work within themselves. And in high vibe, the Sun energy that people can embrace within their own Leo nature is that, and Libra, I deserve to be in just and fair and balanced and loving and encouraging and authentic relationships. And if some people in my life, they could just be defensive to being more authentically themselves. So they could operate kind of more indulging themselves in relationships, kind of hiding behind their ego, their defensive nature. And eventually people see the truth of that too, and they wish them peace, and they go to find the people who have worked through some of those things that manipulate them. And if they're letting other people manipulate them, or the world at large manipulate their life, other people decide, you know what, I am going to go have a new beginning and go find a different job, a different friend, a different romantic relationship. Because, and if I think that you're bossy or controlling or intimidating, yeah, I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. So what's going on in Libra energy? We have a card not showing itself. The reason it came out is because of the Rider card, which in this deck is Aquarius energy. We all have a dream, right? We all have our Aquarius. It's kind of about our dreams, also represented by the Star card. What are we motivated and inspired by in life? What do we think is just and fair? Is it more in ego to look like a shining star? Is it more about us? I like to be the center of attention. Everyone else should put aside their pride and ego, but never me. Some people are full of themselves. But some people are just more motivated and inspired by the things of the world. And that's what's most important. They're kind of tipped out of balance in being more about looking victorious and successful in the world. Love might be optional. Other people want a more balanced relationship. I want these things of the world, yes, but I also want authentic, loving relationships. And I want to live my authentic life. We can all get in jobs or friendships or relationships, and initially it can seem like it's a dream come true, but if over time we come to realize that it might be more not what we thought it was going to be, or people are being manipulative, shadowy Leo being manipulative, people are being boss, they're just not who they said they were. Or we kind of realize we don't like that career field. Are we willing to have hope and faith and belief in ourselves and love ourselves, to believe in ourselves that we're going to go get in a different career field, say, But sometimes we can get in relationships with people and we don't realize we harness this energy differently. Because we can get in relationships with people, we can be attracted to people. The Leo is sun, fire energy. We can be attracted to people. We could have a lot of the goals that we want to accomplish in life can kind of be the same. And there can be a lot of things that kind of motivate and inspire us, or just that we enjoy. And we're kind of have just a lot of things in common. But initially we could think, oh, well, I'm sure they think like me about this, and they think you think like them about this. And then you can realize you kind of harness this energy differently. Success and love. One person, some of the people in our life are people who have a dream of being more authentically themselves and loving themselves, and they want to work through these things that manipulate them. And we can get in a relationship at any stage of our life, from the time we're 15 to the time we're 85, right? And we kind of view life the way we view life, and we're living life at that stage of life. And we can all have some fears and insecurities, and we can all want these things that we want to manifest in the world. And we all are kind of learning to love and believe in ourselves, but I think that's a really hard lesson, to learn to love yourself. And I view high vibe Leo, and then the next set of cards we have the wealthy woman, and the feminine figures in tarot can talk about how we think and feel, to really learn to be a loving, encouraging person to ourselves, like learning to become our own best mother, father, coach voice. Then we're really quite stable and abundant within ourselves. And more, as we keep putting in that work throughout our life, we become, the wealthy woman reminds me kind of the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. I view those as Virgo and Taurus energy, where we put in work and effort to become more independent from our more immature nature, being intimidated by our more immature, shadowy nature. And we put in this work and effort to free ourselves from those things that manipulate us, to know our worth and value, what we bring to the table, and to love ourselves. High vibe Libra, to be balanced within ourselves. We've learned to offset our own, be a nurturing person to ourselves emotionally, to work through our fears and our insecurities and all our more immature nature so that we maintain more balance in our life and not kind of driving our life off into the ditch because we kind of give in to our more immature nature, or because we really want certain things in the world, we maybe could ignore the truth and we kind of get caught up in our ego, but I want those things, And we've all been there and done that. It's part of life learning these lessons. But again, some people are really motivated and inspired by love, and some people could like to live both Libra and Aquarius energy, or air sign energy, which anyone can harness, where they kind of like to live more from their mind than their heart. So then they kind of operating more from their egoic defensive nature, like, I had the free will to look at life from a higher perspective, keep things in perspective, but I might have just decided, I find my more emotional nature. I mean, we're emotionally complex human beings. Some people are like, yeah, that's confusing, and I don't even know if I believe in that. So I might want to be in relationships, indulge in relationships with people. I don't want to just be single. I want to be in relationships, but I might hide the fact that I don't really either believe in love. Some people could think, everybody has free will to think whatever way they want to think, that, people are looking for other people that have these certain traits, qualities, characteristics, so that they look successful in life, that they look victorious, and, try to find maybe the most compatible people, but some people never really authentically invest themselves in a relationship emotionally. They can indulge in it in their kind of, in their fire sign nature, having sex with people, but I don't really emotionally invest myself. And other people do, and then we can get in these mismatched relationships, and it's to try to help us get clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. Are we going to settle for something that looks victorious and successful by worldly standards, and in a lot of ways could be, but if we feel people aren't really being authentic with us, and, but you are, well then, an authentic person who kind of lets their more hopeful, believing nature out to play in the world is in a relationship with like a cardboard cutout person. Their ego nature that really doesn't let that aspect of themselves out to play in the world. And we can move forward in those relationships. We think, we can heal people. I'm sure they'll come around. Whatever shadowy way they might have of being, if they're immature, if they're bossy, if they're controlling, if they're egotistical, if they're like to try to intimidate and control people, whatever they are, we can think, oh no, that's when we have a masculine figure, it can represent that we are kind of operating more from our ego versus our more emotionally intuitive nature. And, we think we know best. Pride comes before the fall. And we think, I hold the key. I can be nurturing and loving to that person. And I'm sure they will free themselves from those things that manipulate them, that might make them act in a more shadowy way of being, or to do love, and that they'll become more independent of those things that manipulate them. And some people in our life do, but I think what we learn is that, before I get in a relationship with someone or marry them, and we have lessons to learn about listening to our intuition, but now that I've learned those lessons, next time I meet someone who I might be attracted to, they seem like someone I would like to have a dream come into reality with, but if I think they aren't really connected in with themselves emotionally, that they might be someone who might like to be in more codependent relationships. Like, maybe I have these things of the world, or you're attracted to me. In a shadowy kind of Nine of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, some people could feel, because they have certain traits, qualities, characteristics, or assets, that social clout, that there's going to want to be people who will kind of tolerate them being operating a little bit more from their ego. And sometimes kind of more shadowy people are looking for an emotionally nurturing person, whether they're male or female, whether they're male or female. You know, that's some people's idea. I do like to be more about these things of the world or about myself, and I kind of emotionally indulge my more egoic nature, shadow nature. But because I have these things of the world, I think there's other people that I can get in a relationship with that, you know, I might not be a very loving, just, fair, balanced, emotionally mature person, but I might have these things of the world. I'll just get in a relationship with someone who's more nurturing and loving. That's the key. That's the ticket. I don't have to do love. I have an idea. I'm just going to go find someone who's loving and nurturing. They put a lot of work and effort into a relationship to make it victorious and successful. And if I get in a relationship with someone like that, then it looks like I'm that type of person too. And I'll present myself. Anybody in your more shadowy nature of living more from your mind than your heart, if you're not being truthful and honest and authentic, kind of you think, I can just kind of create an illusion that I am that type of person, so that type of person will get in a relationship with me. The only problem is they can be very smart. They can wear a good social mask. But if they're not being truthful and honest, and the other people kind of are connected in with their emotions and their intuition, in tarot, the moon card represents Pisces energy. In this deck, they refer to it as Cancer energy. Two emotional water sign energies. If they get in a relationship, a mismatched relationship, where they still have some lessons to learn about being more, seeing the truth. It should be about truth and love and authenticity. The other people are more connected in with their emotions and intuition. And eventually the high vibe people in their life kind of are illuminated to the truth. And then we have Lilith, Scorpio energy. Sensual, powerful, sexual, wild, untamed passion, independence, mystery. So Scorpio is another emotional water sign energy. And since Scorpio is a fixed sign energy, I view it as like the emotional water sign energy that we kind of align with when we're in the midst. Cancer can be getting into the relationship and love and things like that. And then Scorpio is kind of exploring the mysteries of life. And that's when we're putting work and effort into the relationship to make it a more deep, meaningful relationship. And then Pisces is the one that helps us transition to the next phase of life. And, you know, we have that hope and faith and belief and love and Cancer energy. We put more work and effort to get to know each other and explore the mysteries of life. And we learn what we need to learn. We see what should go, what should stay. We're illuminated to the truth. We keep moving forward to bring a dream into reality. And if everyone were invested in putting this work and effort within themselves to grow and heal and mature themselves from things that manipulate them, to keep working through those things with hope and faith and belief and love, to keep having hope and faith in the relationship and everybody's being authentic and honest and loving, well then we do have these deep, meaningful relationships. That's high vibe Scorpio. I want to explore the mysteries of life emotionally. But sometimes, you know, we have people in our life that are working together with us, doing this work within themselves. Everybody, you know, we can't make other people heal from their fear or their insecurity or their defensive nature or their prideful nature or immature nature. They have to do that within themselves. And the people in our life who do that work within themselves are people we keep moving forward with. And we all have our more shadowy karmic side, and we all have our more emotionally intuitive loving nature. If in our Libra energy, we kind of see the truth of it, because I view Libra as also represented by the King of Swords, that we see the truth of it, and we have to acknowledge that. And if everyone does that, that I can be tempted to be more prideful and egotistical or immature, whatever, and thinking other people should kind of indulge me in my ego. And some people do. And some people, I'll get someone in a relationship with me, get them emotionally invested in me, and then because kind of using my intuition in a shadowy way, I know they love me. They want this relationship to work. Well, now I think I can be hurtful or unkind or bossy or controlling to get them to kind of give in to my more shadowy nature. And again, for a long time, people don't want to see it. Pisces of the moon can be, I kind of see this person as doing these things, but, I'm going to keep loving and nurturing them and hope that they'll work through it. And then there comes a point in time where we just can't ignore the truth anymore. And we start to wonder, why is this person even my friend or want to be in a relationship with me? And then we start to wonder, why are they really in the relationship? What kind of drives and motivates them? What's their truth? And we could think that some people are more about the ego and the image, and that's what's most important, and that can be why they get in certain friendships and relationships. If it works for them, it's good for their ego and their image. You haven't seen the truth of who they are. You're still caught up in the illusion. The moon is different than the sun. It gives off some light. It can kind of look like the sun, because it gives off light. But the moon talks about not seeing things clearly. And then eventually people kind of see the truth of it. I think it was more, you either wanted to just indulge in a relationship and you kind of created an illusion that it was love. You're more driven by ego and image and money and materialism, and that's the driving factor, and it's not love. And maybe you don't really do love. Shadowy Scorpio is that anyone can harness. I find my emotions kind of confusing, and I like to keep them buried beneath the surface. And it could be I kind of have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And again, some people have these illusions. It should be more about them. The scales should be tipped in their favor for some reason. Some people are very prideful and egotistical, and they're caught up in the illusion of themselves. And again, we can meet people. They seem very successful in a lot of ways. They can be conduct themselves very well in the world. And we think that they are more stable and grounded than we realized. And some people like to play the loving, nurturing role in your life, but they want you then to not heal from your past pain and heartbreak. Don't work through your fears and insecurities. I like getting in relationships with people who I think haven't learned to love and appreciate themselves. And you can be a loving, nurturing person. That's great. But I want you to view me as this, and that's why you can be attracted to people, because you both could be people who kind of like to play that caregiver role in people's lives, but that's when you kind of later kind of see the subtle differences. High vibe people like to be a caregiver. They want other people to free themselves from the things that manipulate them. Let's keep moving forward. Let's work through the fears. The moon can talk about the fears. Let's work through those things that maybe made us not love and believe in ourselves. Let's work through issues from our past where we didn't view people as very loving or very just, very fair, and we were hurt. Let's work through all those things so that we can go live our authentic life. Go on this adventure. We freed ourselves from those things. But some of the other people who we could get in a relationship with, who can seem very loving and nurturing and could have been very loving and nurturing, but they don't plan to work through those issues within themselves. And then they don't want you to work through those issues. They want to keep moving forward in this type of energy. Whatever it is that manipulates me is going to keep manipulating me. My past pain and heartbreak, I keep it under the surface. I don't want to deal with it. I just kind of have decided, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go explore those things emotionally. I'm going to go forward, operating more from my ego. Let's get in a relationship. By worldly standards, everything will look good and we can get along. It's just that it's kind of like never stepping outside their comfort zone. The truth sets us free. Kind of like my nesting dolls over there. We have age 15, we have age 18, we have age 21, age 25, age 30, age 35. Are we freeing ourselves from shedding an old layer of ourselves to give birth to a new layer of ourselves? Like, I worked through some of that baggage. That doesn't drag me down anymore. I am ready to move forward in life to face my fears about moving forward in life differently. I believe I can do it. I have worked through those issues that held me back. Let's move forward, being more healed, more grown, more mature, having more hope and faith and belief in ourselves. We added more lessons through that period of time. We learned more things. Let's take the good things with us. Let's leave the things that weren't so conducive to a loving, healthy life and relationship, and let's move forward. And that's when some other people, though, can't move forward because they still have those issues that they hide beneath the surface that they don't want to shed light on. Just shedding love and compassion on it to let them go. Because otherwise we keep repeating an old pattern. And there can be nothing new that's growing there. But then we also aren't stepping out of our comfort zone and we don't have to face our fears. It's like people who never want to go get a new job when the job that they're at isn't working out. And we all know when we were young how scary that was to go get a different job. And then when that job, we wanted to go get a different, the more you do it, the more experience you have, that then to go look for a new job isn't as scary, or getting to know people or being more authentically yourself, or the more practice you have at dealing with these difficult issues. Libra is also represented by the 3 of Swords, which is conflict between our heart and our mind. And the more we have practice at kind of working through those things and offering love to ourselves to deal with the truth, where do I need to heal and grow and mature myself? Where do some of the people that I've been in relationships with maybe need to heal and grow and mature themselves? And just seeing the truth that everybody is where they're at and kind of getting out of our ego about it. We definitely have had people we wanted to be friends with or date or wanted them to love us, and some of those people didn't. Did we contribute? Some people have had loving people leave their life, but they don't want to see the truth of why those loving people didn't stay in their life. If they're not willing to maybe see through the illusion of how they view themselves, I can view myself as a loving, nurturing, stable, grounded person in the world, and that people could view that way. But do I encourage people to really love and believe in themselves, or only to a certain extent? I don't really want you, because if some people are kind of caught up in the illusion of the world, and it's more about conforming to the world and having a certain status and image, they're just someone who does make their life more about conforming to the world, and other people might not. High vibe Aquarius. Life is about stepping outside of societal norms to bring needed change to the world. And high vibe energy is being more independent of the world. Shining your authentic light. High vibe energy at the big picture represented by God wants to give birth to new things. If we all keep repeating an old pattern and everybody keeps conforming to the world, we would have never gotten out of caveman era. High vibe energy wants people to learn lessons in life, learn from what has been, take the lessons you've learned, see what worked, see what didn't, be willing to put in the work to be stable and grounded and independent, offer truth and love, don't lie, don't try to manipulate, don't try to control or deceive. Aren't we all working for the common goal in a friendship, a workplace, or a family dynamic? But that isn't how some people think. I have a way of doing it, and I don't want to do things any different. Well, then some of those people should stay single, and it'd be really nice if they just only were friends with people. Because if they're not willing to be authentic and more just and fair, treat other people the way they like to be treated, grow up and mature themselves, it could be a problem to get in relationships with other people. And some people just want to be in relationships and maybe be a loving, nurturing person. But again, maybe not a more deep, meaningful relationship where you have to let love and fire, Leo, creativity and imagination and intuition guide you. I want to create the illusion that I'm that type of person, but it could be more out of codependency, fear, insecurity, indulgence, ego, looking for someone to be a caregiver to them. Some people are out of balance. They harness their Libra energy not well. But they want these things that other people will have, and they want to be in relationships. But some of them, haven't learned to do this work within themselves. And that takes practice too. We all have probably, our life kind of went in the ditch when a relationship didn't work out because we were in more codependent energy. We really hadn't learned to give ourselves the things that we wish other people would have given us. And so then we can get in relationships kind of looking for someone to play that role in our life. Some people want people to continually play that role in their life. Some people look to relationships like some people could look to booze and alcohol or drugs or gambling or sex or something to be the answer to their problems. And they never do this work within themselves. And that could be how they view relationships. That's not my job. I might have these certain things and traits about me. My way, I kind of have these illusions about what it means to be in loving, authentic relationships. I have my own illusion about what it means to be in a relationship. I have these issues. I have these certain aspects that I think people will be willing to get in a relationship with me. And I think people should want to get in a relationship with me for whatever they bring to the table. And then we should just both stay in denial of the truth of the fact that you're supposed to you're supposed to be the answer to my problems. The problem is sometimes their issues bubble back up to the surface. Well, then they could get confused because they thought you were the answer to their problems. Well, you must not be the person. I don't know if I can keep moving forward with you. Maybe I should go find someone else to get in a relationship with because my fears and my insecurities shouldn't bubble up. I made you the answer to my problems. I'm not supposed to have to work through those issues. You are magically supposed to take them away. And if they bubble up, then you're the wrong person because they don't take responsibility for working through those issues within themselves. That's someone else's job. And that's how some people can view relationships. Some people, because they could have taken some kind of immature action, some people, can be very distrustful of other people. Who's the most distrustful of other people? Other people who know they're not being authentic, that they're kind of in relationships, maybe not for the right reasons, have their ulterior purposes. They know they're not authentically investing in it. They're kind of indulging in it for what they can get out of it. But they like other people to love them. But because they know they're hiding the truth, not illuminating the truth, Then they become very suspicious of other people. I don't know if you have my best intentions at heart, because I know I'm kind of more about myself. They tell themselves. So I think you might be creating an illusion that you really don't have my best interest at heart. And then shadowy Scorpio can be people who act like a private detective in a relationship. Because, if they were to listen to their intuition, do the people in their life seem loving and encouraging and supportive? More authentically so than they do. They might act loving and supportive, but again, it's kind of maybe more of a mental construct. And then they want to go find out things that are being nosy that are none of their business to. People have a right to privacy, right? Of just living their own life. But it can be like a private detective. It can be shadowy Scorpio that people can harness. It can be more narcissistic. It can be intimidating and controlling. And if people think you are healing and growing and maturing yourself and freeing yourself from things that manipulate you, instead of just communicating with you, how'd you do that? What was your perspective? How did you put things in perspective? Instead, it could just instill fear in them that other people, and you might be kind of energetically in some ways, you could have been kind of on the same page in life in a way. And then if you start to heal and grow and mature, it's kind of like in tarot, they talk about it kind of jumping timelines, that you're not the same person you were. And Scorpio energy is about death and transformation, like I mentioned with the nesting dolls. And then they could be afraid that because you've healed from some things and you're maybe more authentically yourself, more comfortable with yourself, other people could be attracted to you. And that can really get them up in their head, and Aquarius, Libra, get them up in their head. And, then their fears and their insecurities can kind of cloud their judgment. And then they could take some kind of immature action out of their fear and their insecurities, wanting to know what's going on, that they don't know what's going on, and then that can blow up a relationship. They might have some healing to do within themselves and to temper their more egoic, worldly nature and listen more to their intuition. Then they're getting caught up in their fear and their insecurities. Some people could have been moving forward in a loving, balanced relationship, pretty much, that, there was potential for it to move forward. They might have had a problem being more authentic. The relationship going to the next stage where they run the risk at a deep level. Scorpio talks about our deep emotional nature, that they weren't willing to do that. Nope, I got to get out of this. I get hurt. Some people, now that caregiver card is reminding me of the Four of Swords of Libra energy, where some people just want to be in a relationship as a place to rest. I don't like being single. I want to be in a relationship. It makes me feel better. But then it's always resting. Never really bringing the dream into reality. Oh no, I'm still resting. I still have these things that bother me. But again, they may never do this work within themselves to work through those issues, But some people could have been in a loving relationship. But because they could hide that they're more driven by the things of the world and their ego. And, it takes putting in Virgo, Taurus energy, slow, steady steps, work, and effort to bring our dreams into reality. And some people, but I want to look like a shining star now. And if there's someone else I could go get in a relationship with where I would have that now, I might break the heart of someone in high vibe Cancer, Leo energy who is being authentic and loving and warm, but I didn't know if we'd have the status or the image or the things that I wanted. So I will break their heart, let that person go, to go try to get my dream presenting myself as a caring, nurturing, stable, grounded, whatever person to someone else who might have those things of the world that they want. And those people get in a relationship with them. If they're on the same page and they're both kind of more driven and motivated by that, it might work out. They both might be kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking of Lilith as kind of being shadowy and hiding, that they both don't really align with their more loving nature. And they could be people who kind of want to repeat this past pattern. Let's just make our life more about conforming to the world. It's good for our ego and our image. And that's more what drives and motivates us, is our ego and looking like a shining star in the world. The only problem is, if they were both just people more driven by the world and the things of the world or whatever they like to indulge in, that relationship could work, and that's a just and fair relationship. They're on whatever page and phase of life that they're at. You could have been at that phase, kind of caught up in those things of the world, indulging in what you were indulging in. Eventually, kind of realized, I don't want to keep doing this. This might have been my dream at one time, and I thought this was the dream way to live life, but it's not anymore. And I could find it that it's starting to be confusing, because I could feel like I'm missing an opportunity in love. And I could feel I am repeating a past pattern, and I am kind of more inspired to want to stand up for myself and what I believe in, and I don't want to make my life just about these things or indulging myself in these things or whatever, Kind of have looked at life from a different perspective. So we're either kind of more focused on the worldly dream, or that there's more to life than just those things of the world, And I have a dream, and I have my unique talent, skills, and interest, and I want to be more independent, to live my more authentic life, and I might want to be in relationships with people who I feel are more authentic versus maybe more repeating old patterns or being more caught up in the superficial and shallow. And I want to go be in relationships with people who harness these energies in a more high vibrational way, who've healed from some of these things within us that kind of made us live our life that way to begin with, and are more inspired to stand up for living their more authentic life. And the problem can be, though, if people are a little more shadowy and they kind of try to manipulate and control people in a relationship, or are more about themselves, kind of a little egotistical or bossy or controlling, and if they go get in a relationship with someone who might be more worldly focused also, but if that person also likes to be that type of person, then we have a problem. And for some of those people, that relationship won't work out, because they might have not wanted to see the truth that the person they were going into a relationship is kind of a lot like them. And they also like to maybe be viewed in these certain ways, but they also maybe aren't very authentic or loving and like to kind of be more about themselves and controlling and manipulative. For other people, they could have went to try to get in a relationship with someone, and they weren't seeing that person clearly. That person somewhere along the way also could have healed from their more worldly viewpoint, and they are someone who is more motivated and inspired by love, and they didn't realize that. They thought they were just like them and would be willing to maybe repeat this old pattern, and it maybe didn't work. And sometimes, some people can be, like I say, intimidating and controlling in order to try to get people to not love themselves, not believe in themselves, give up on their dreams, do hurtful things, repeat some poor past patterns, trying to manipulate and dominate over other people, because they could like the relationship, whether they're with high vibe people, worldly focused, shadowy focused, so long as it's good for their ego and image in some way, they could want it to keep moving forward, and they don't want to do this work within themselves. And if the other people are moving forward in life differently, doing that work within themselves, that's when their more shadowy nature can come out, to try to stop people from doing that and come back and do the relationship the way they want. So, high vibe people, wherever stage of life that they're at, high vibe people are trying to find people who are on the same page as them. Not trying to deceive and manipulate. Everybody willing to admit, I got my own issues, my own fears, my own insecurities. I do this work within myself to free myself, wanting to be in a relationship with other people who do that. A more worldly, shadowy person would be someone who doesn't want to reveal the truth, might not want to be just and fair, have their own ideas of what is just and fair, could think it should be more about them, want to be indulged. So, what's coming up for people that harness some high vibe Libra energy? They could have taken this time to heal, and they're ready to have a new beginning. And even though there's some relationships in their past that they're sad about, we accept that people are where they're at. If they're not ready to move forward with me in this way, the masculine energies can just talk about people taking action in the world to bring their dreams into reality. I'm going to go find people in the world who seem to be on the same page as me, be loving and authentic and encouraging, and the people who are on the same page as me are the people I can work with to bring a dream into reality. And the people who aren't being truthful or authentic or revealing the truth, some people are heartbroken because they created an illusion, because they could have done something unloving, kind of controlling or hurtful or unkind, but they don't want to reveal the truth of it. So some of those people are still hiding the truth, trying to create an illusion that they've healed and moved on to, but the truth sets you free. Are we telling other people? Do we get out of our ego to admit the mistakes that we've made in our life? Or do we still not want to admit the mistakes that we've made in our life? Where we were immature or impulsive or reckless or fearful or got caught up in things, Yeah, a lie can follow you around forever. Kind of wears on you. And some people are like, nope. I can just push on through. I'll just create an illusion that I've changed, I've healed, go get in another relationship. But they're the same person they were in the last relationship, and the same things that manipulated them in the last relationship to cause them to make the decisions that they could have made. It's just like people leaving a job, just thinking if they go get a new job, it'll all be better. But it's like, you're the same person you were at the last job. You didn't deal with the truth of the situation to see where you need to heal or grow or mature yourself. What's coming up for some high vibe people in Libra energy who are working through these issues? The High Priestess. Why? Because of the Tower. The High Priestess is Pisces Cancer energy again. And the Tower is about dealing with the truth of how we operate from different foundations than other people, and also offering love to our own unstable nature, like our shadowy nature, to heal and grow and mature it. Our loving nature is in the driver's seat of our life. We put our more immature, shadowy nature in the back seat. That's kicking and screaming, we're not getting what we want, we should go do this, we should go take action out of pride and ego. And our high vibe nature says, calm down. We do not want to repeat some poor past patterns. We already know that ends in heartbreak. So we are going to take slow, steady steps forward in truth and love, and finding the people who are on the same page as us, listening to our intuition about who else has been enlightened to some of the truths that we've been enlightened to and who hasn't. And the people who have been enlightened to some of those same truths of levels of emotional maturity and love and justice and fairness and things like that, those are people you're going to listen to your intuition about and have new beginnings with. And the people that you've already seen the truth, that that's not the page that they're on, that's okay. We used to be on that page. Well, you be on that page. Live your life at that phase of life. I'm detaching from that phase of life because I've already learned what I needed to learn there, and I don't want to keep repeating that way of behaving or acting or viewing the world. So, detaching from an old way of viewing life, seeing the truth. The high priestess talks about sitting back and observing people and the choices and decisions they choose to make, and then not staying in denial of why they make those choices and decisions. Dealing with the truth. So you can see who operates from the same foundation you do and who doesn't. And though we could be sad that some people that we wish would move forward with us in a more just and fair, balanced way, they're not there. So we wish them peace and we move on. And then when you keep living your authentic life, some people in your life could have tried to confuse people about the truth of who you were if you were acting in high vibe energy and some other people weren't. And they could have tried to confuse people about the truth of who you are. But as you keep doing this work within yourself and moving forward, it reveals the truth of your foundation that some people in shadowy high priestess were trying to hide. And this whole process probably really made you start really connecting with your intuition. Because again, we can be attracted to people and our intuition could tell us, I don't think we should do this. I think we've done something like this before. I do not think this is going to work out the way we think. But in our ego, thinking we know best, we went and gotten it anyway. And now we've learned, oh, no, my intuition was given to me as a gift to help navigate this world. Pride comes before the fall. I'm going to start putting in the work, listening to my intuition, staying balanced within myself, and take action out of truth and love for myself, belief in my dreams, be authentic, be loving, be supportive, be encouraging. And if there's people in my life who I know that's not where they're at, I'm not going to get in a relationship with them, a more involved relationship. And for some of you, because you do listen to your intuition, that's why some people don't want to be in a relationship with you. Because if they don't think they can manipulate and control you, because you listen to your intuition, you don't get caught up in the illusion, and they can't tempt you more to stay in a relationship for lust or greed or pride or ego, then they don't want to be in a relationship with you either. And for some of you who do decide to go have a new beginning, there'll be other people who try to tear you down and confuse people about the truth of who you are. Because it's kind of competitive ego energy. I don't want them to view that person as a high vibe person. I want them to view me as a high vibe person, but some people are just creating the illusion of being high vibe, and they're not. And eventually, the truth is revealed. Oh, no, that's too many. 1 or 2 or 3 cards. What's coming up for some people who got some lessons to learn, who might not want to deal with the truth about why they do what they do and what motivates them? What do they not see coming? Okay, we got the 9 of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles. Why? Because of the 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands is Leo energy. Shadowy people, whether it's a workplace, a family, a friendship group, there's always some high vibe people around them. High vibe people, high vibe Gemini in their earth sign energies of Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. Their Leo energy, their Capricorn energy, their Leo energy again. They have high vibe people who stay focused on the truth, who work through their inner conflict and move forward in life, working cooperatively with others because they change. They don't try to change other people. I live my authentic life. I make gestures to people in truth and love to move forward with me and work cooperatively with me. If they don't, I kind of let them go to work with people who maybe want to fight and argue with them and compete with them, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to offer truth and love to work with you cooperatively. If you have a problem with that, I'm going to move on. And some of the people that are kind of shadowy right now could have some people that are working through some of their own inner conflict, getting out of it, freeing themselves from things that manipulate them, and it's stressing out the shadowy people. Damn, they did this work within themselves. Now they're going to want me to do that work within myself. And they don't want to do that work. There's nothing they want to change. They like doing life or thinking about life or viewing life the way they view it. And they have some high vibe people who might want to move forward with them in a relationship or a workplace, but they have stress about, how do you create an illusion and try to keep trying to create an illusion that you've changed when you haven't? You still have all the same fears and insecurities, past pain and heartbreak that you had before. And other people keep moving forward and they keep having inner conflict about the truth. This is the Nine of Swords. There's some truth that they don't want to deal with, either about a Leo, about their own ego, about these illusions they have about life or about relationships or their self-centered nature. No, I want a relationship to go like this. I don't want people to keep doing this inner work because I don't do that inner work. And then other people move on. And some people are moving on from them right now. Some people are afraid of revealing the truth. They're going to keep being afraid of the truth. And they're going to keep moving forward in their ego, getting in relationships with these truths, causing them inner conflict. The whole thing could be the truth is they're very competitive in the world. Or they have a lot of inner conflict. Or they're very prideful and egotistical. And they think other people shouldn't love and believe in themselves because of their own inner conflict. And they should work together with them cooperatively in a relationship. It's just that other people do that work to free themselves from their inner conflict. They don't like dragging their baggage around with them forever. But some of these people, I'm never looking at it. I put it in a box in the corner of my mind, and I'm never looking at that shit. Okay, but it affects how they operate. And they know they're not being truthful. And then it affects them. And then it affects how they act in relationships. Because they haven't worked through these issues that originally caused them to kind of act like this to begin with. And some of them are just narcissistic, egotistical, self-centered people. They indulge their more immature nature, and they think other people should indulge their more immature nature. And it can get harder and harder to find someone to keep indulging them in that way. And until they're willing to see the truth of it and get out of their ego and for some reason thinking it should be more about them than working together with people cooperatively from love, they'll probably just go on, try to find someone else. Some of them want to be in a relationship. The Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. They might want to work with someone who has these things of the world that they want because they don't believe in themselves or have fear about things like that and have a lot of inner conflict about those kind of issues. But instead of putting work into why they have such fear about those things or let those things consume them, as long as those things manipulate them, I think with the sadness card, things aren't going to work out the way they want. Because other people listen to their intuition about them. And I don't think you want to be in the relationship with me because you love me. You might want to be in a relationship with me because you want to stress someone out and cause someone else inner conflict, so they'll come get in a relationship with you. I don't want to be used as a pawn in your game. Do you want to have a new beginning, authentic, loving relationship with me, or do you not? Why are you in this relationship? And if you don't seem to want to move forward in that way, then I'm going to leave and move on. Some people are in a new relationship, creating an illusion that they've moved on, but they really still again, if they got in another like more loving, nurturing relationship, I could want to be in a relationship with someone who has this money. You know, and if they're in a relationship with someone who has money, then the person who has money could have inner conflict about moving forward with them because their intuition is telling them it's not love. High people have seen the truth. If I want to work with stable, grounded, just, fair, authentic, loving people, that is what I need to align with within myself. I need to get over my inner conflict, my defensiveness, my fear of love, if I want to go be in relationships with people who are like that. And some people have been in a mismatched relationship, and it's like, I'm not going to keep doing this. I could have created an illusion of how wonderful and happy my life is. And maybe it started out that way, but then over time, things can change. And this isn't aligned with my truth anymore, and I'm willing to reveal the truth. Some people aren't willing to reveal the truth, so they're going to keep moving forward, creating an illusion of how wonderful everything is, while they keep repeating this old pattern. Other people freed themselves from a pattern, and they get to move forward and have a new beginning and kind of go to the next phase of life. So there you go, Libra energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.